Hello and welcome to another episode of The Garden of Ethan. Today, I should have said g'day and welcome, but that actually doesn't really come to my vernacular very easily. But hello and welcome. Today, we're doing I said this last episode and I was like, we're doing the Australian episode of the podcast. We're talking about everything Australia. You know what? I want to get weirdly patriotic. I just want to talk about my country because I think it's fun. Also, I think that it's not like, no, it's fun to learn about other countries. I think it's a very fun thing. I love doing facts. Like geography, fun thing I love doing in high school. It's one of those things that I do in my off time. I love learning about things, figuring things out. I think it's fun. Fun facts are so enjoyable to me. So basically, this episode, we're doing a little different. I've been researching all morning because I wanted I could have written down things that I think and know, but I was like, I feel like it would be more fun because I was like, you know, we're doing Australia, different stuff. So I Googled and I talked about how I had this list that I saw on Facebook of Australian facts. And I had that and I looked through it and I was like, oh, that's cool. I've got that stuff. But I wanted more and more in depth to talk about. So I've been researching all morning. A lot of it is stuff I knew, but to condense it, put things together. I also did learn a lot, which is really fun because it's always good to learn more about what's going on in your country or what's happening. Well, not what's happening, just what are these certain facts. We got them. I put them into a couple of different categories. There's flora and fauna, country, culture, and random, or I couldn't fit them in anywhere, so they got at the end. But I thought it was just a fun one. And we have been watching Heartbreak High over the last week. Well, I've seen it all currently, but I'm still posting them every day. And that's set in Australia. I just felt I watched Anyone But You, and that was in Australia. Everything's feeling very Australian this month. So I'm like, why not do it? I also love talking about this stuff. It's also it's an area I find interesting about any country, is learning fun facts about them, different things about, you know, people, culture, how it works. And it's also fun, especially because I live here, getting to talk about these things and what I think about certain things and how that works. So yeah, still a fun little themed episode of the podcast today. What the fuck are you wearing? I hear you say. We're a couple minutes in and I haven't addressed it. I don't ever wear hats. The hat is, I don't know if you could see that or that helped, but it's a Vegemite hat, you know, very Australian. I wore yellow. I have green, so green and gold. They're the Australian sporting colours. Even though so I feel everyone usually goes off what their flag is, but we're just nah. That's something I should have looked up why that is that. But it's just gonna be a fun episode. I've got a big. It's not a script, but just a list of facts. It could sound awful because I'm just reading them off. But we're just having a fun time. We'll talk about them. I'd love to hear what you think of different things. If you knew anything, what surprised you the most. So do let me know. I love this sort of stuff and we can talk about it. And we could do a follow-up. Honestly, this is endlessly interesting to me. I love doing it. I also love getting to be the fun authority on things. I don't know, that sounds kind of crazy, but when watching Heartbreak High, I remember especially when posting the first season, there are a couple of things that people in the comments were asking about, specifically Australia based, or you know, because in the show there's essays, and this season there's a lot of Pig Latin talk, which isn't Australian, but I know, you know, it's just certain things that I just I'm cool, I can answer some of these, and it's really fun. So we're gonna hop into it. The hat will be coming off because I don't do caps, man. Caps hurt my head. I've got a big head, it is, and a lot of hair. So also sorry if my hair looks like shit for the rest of this. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll have to keep the cap on. Maybe I have to do a whoa. Not horrible. Maybe we do a oh god, no, I'm I want it to look better. I want to look cool. How do I? Yeah. Sick. I look... Okay, we're just gonna... What are they... Cut. Cut will be back. Okay, my hair and head are free of that horrid thing. It's just, there's something about cats that I don't like. That's my me fun fact for this episode. Okay, but we're gonna go... it would be great if it was like I could but I was like, oh, I'll put my camera just like in front of it so I can read, but then it kind of looks like I'm blankly staring past you. So we're just gonna have you just get my side, which is what we usually get a reaction anyway. If I forget that some people might not watch my reaction stuff and watch this, so depends how you do. You're used to this or not, but. Also, there was some facts where I doubled up because there was bits on some things that I like pieced together. So if I say anything twice, I apologize. But we're starting off on country. So I was thinking like land side, and more like the actual like country and all that stuff. You'll get the categories. This is the more loosely based one. But fun facts about country. And I find this is one like I know, and it is interesting. I feel like a lot of people would know. Maybe 90%. Also, oh yeah, disclaimer for this. I was like thinking about these when I was doing it. I don't know. Granted, a lot of different websites have the same sort of information. So I'd like to think the information is real and is fantastic, and all the stats are right. This could all be wrong. Like I could tell you all this and it could be wrong. I'm trusting it. A lot of it makes sense to me as someone who lives here. Some of them seem kind of weird, I'll be like, I'll let you know. But I'm like, I could be telling you completely misinformation for the whole however long this is going to be, but where I think it'll be somewhat informative. 90% of Australia live on the coast. It's the largest island in the world and the only island and country, it's the only island and continent, and it's the only island or full continent. Wow, we've started off horribly. Okay. It's an island and a country, and the only continent that is covered by a single country. Which is like wild, because I'm like, yeah, I live in a country, I also live on a continent, and I live on an island. Which is weird to think, because like Australia is so fucking huge. Like it is absolutely like massive. Obviously it's not as big as America, but it's basically very much the same size. They're roughly the same. I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but like you Google like a overlay, they're like relatively similar. Despite being a huge continent, 90% of the population lives on the coast, due to the majority of the country's interior being vast desert, commonly referred to as the outback. 4 out of 5 Australians live less than 50 kilometers from the coastline. And on this website it said, now that's living the dream. I love that they just like add that in. I would say... I don't know if I'm 50. Also, we use metric, which is just like, isn't there only 2 countries still that use the imperial system? No offense, America. You're wild for that one. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me. I don't know how things are taught in imperial, like especially like math. Makes no sense to my little metric mind. That sounds so fun, metric mind. Also like, Fahrenheit, just to me, doesn't work. and it's like, it's funny because like, even though it's only 2 countries, I'm pretty sure that still use the imperial system. Cause America's obviously so everything to everyone. It's still like, they've got a hold on it. I don't know why they didn't just switch over. Like, no, I feel like it wouldn't be the worst thing. I don't think like maybe imperial should be forgotten, but to me, it's like, well, if we're all doing one standard, how about we just jump on that? I don't know. But yeah, I'm like temperature. When Americans are like, oh, it's something degree. When they're like 100, it's 100 degrees out. I'm like 100 degrees. To me, that is the wildest thing I have ever heard in my life. Because like, what is it in Celsius? It's zero's the freezing point of water, 100 degrees is the boiling point of water. Possibly. I'm trying to think back to science. I don't know these things, but I'm just like, 100 degrees, you're fucked. 0 degrees, you're really cold. And it's like, that makes sense. And then like, Imperial's just like, Fahrenheit's just wow. Anywho, this is not the tangent. This is not the hill to die on today. But yeah, it's like, everyone I feel like is usually like an hour or a bit away from a beach. It says, now let's live in the dream. Do you ever get up there as often as you want? It does make a good option for a weekend away. Like, and there are amazing beaches. Like, everyone has like their favorite beach. There are good beaches around. Everyone gets really, I feel like everyone's always very like possessive of their like favorite, not possessive, but like everyone has like a favorite beach. So maybe we are very like beach orientated of a people, but it's fun. We like it. I had another beach fact, but I don't know where it is. It's something about, hold on. Oh, here we go. If you visited one new beach in Australia every day, it would take over 27 years to see all 10,685 beaches. That's wild, right? It makes sense because like, we're an island. Every side has a beach, you know what I mean? And they're all probably like just chopped up into different categories. But like 27 years, if you went to a beach a day, holy shit. Like that seems like it would be a fun, like, you know, you get mega rich, you retire at 50, you're like, next 27 years, I'm seeing some fucking beaches. But also, I feel like you could really steamroll that. I feel like you could do a couple more than one a day. But back to the facts and the talks and the information. There are several types of rainforests in Australia. Tropical rainforests, mainly found in the northeast, up in like Queensland, are the richest in planted animal species. Subtropical rainforests are found near the mid-eastern coast, and broadleaf rainforests grow in the southeast of the island of Tasmania. Something I didn't know. Granted, it's one of those things, you know, when you like, you know certain things about certain states or places in your country, but nothing about others. Tasmania is one of those places that I do not know a lot about. You know, and it's funny because we are so close living in Victoria. Like, you know, Tasmania is just across the ocean. But yeah, no, I'm an ignorant person. I don't know these things. Australia is the driest inhabited continent on Earth. Only Antarctica gets less moisture falling on its landmass, which would make you think that Antarctica is the driest continent on Earth. So maybe we're coming in second. But yeah, it gets hot, it gets dry. Lot of, you know, lot of droughts over the years, which is like a big thing that like happens a lot, which is not good. And then you also have like floods up north, but like it's so, you know, hot and so much desert in the middle. That's just, yeah, it's like, that's why we all sit on the edges, because all the middle, there's a lot going on in there. Plenty of people live in the middle. It's just the majority are all on the outside. Australia is as wide as the distance between London and Moscow. I can't like visualize that in my mind, but I hope maybe someone will be able to, like, I get it, like on a map I can like see it, but I'm just like, as I don't live close to those, I'm like, it sounds a lot bigger than maybe it should. The biggest property in Australia is bigger than Belgium. That's great to know. Also, who owns that? That's something I should have fact checked, but that's crazy that it's just like bigger than Belgium. Holy shit. I wonder what that sells for. The Great Barrier Reef is the world's largest living structure. It can be seen from space. It's considered one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And you probably didn't know, it's roughly half the size of Texas. The world's largest coral reef system spanning 1,400 miles. I love it how they put it in miles, because I'm pretty sure a couple of these are like travel websites. But yeah, I love how they say the Great Barrier Reef is like seen from space, and I get what they mean, like the actual, like you can see like where the probably like the reef, but I'm like, it's just like seeing all the ocean, right? You can see it all from space. But yeah, Australia, the Great Barrier Reef, great place. I think it's like gone through it because of global warming, which is a really, and like pollution and stuff, which is a really shit thing. But I've been there once in my life. I kind of remember it. It's one of those things where you're young and you know it's such a cool thing and you want to remember it, but you don't. But yeah, cool, cool play. I can't follow up all these facts with anything. So like certain ones, it's like I'll go on a tangent. Other ones is like, yep, it's the ocean. It's a reef. I know things. Also, I don't actually. Is it? I was gonna say, oh, it's where Nemo was filmed, but I don't even know. Did we ever like find that out? Was Nemo meant to be, because they went to Sydney, like 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Like everyone knows P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Everyone knows that, but I'm like, where did they start? Where was their journey? Sorry, this is going to be an all over, but it's the podcast. It's okay. We know that I'm going to be like absolutely useless. Australia, this is one I actually like specifically Googled for this bit because I think this is something I did know and I think it's really interesting. Australia has one of the world's lowest population densities, with a landmass only slightly smaller than the US, yet the population is around 26 million compared to the 332 million in the United States, which that's not, but this is the thing that's really interesting to me. I have copied the same thing twice. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't want to get this fact wrong, but I think I bring it up later. Oh, here it is. With that population density, there is 3.38. So we're just going to say 3 people per square kilometer. Compared to a lot of other countries, that is like so low. I think in certain countries it can be like upwards of 1,000 people per square kilometer if like everyone got designated a square kilometer. Also rude. Like I feel like we need to split up the square kilometers and give some more out to the people. Obviously that wouldn't work because there are certain places which I'm pretty sure would not be like optimal to live in Australia. But we're moving on to the flora and fauna section. It's basically a bunch of animal facts that I found really interesting / new and want to share. But on the population stuff, Australia has 3 times more sheep than people and twice as many kangaroos. So, you know, it's a 3-to-1 ratio sheep to people, and there's a 2-to-1 ratio of kangaroos to people. Kangaroos are fucking everywhere. Like a sheep, I would assume is also, farming and all that stuff. But kangaroos are just everywhere. They are fucking everywhere, which leads into Australia's ecosystem is an unusual one because of its remote location. Many animal species that occur here are found nowhere else on Earth, which is really cool, such as the platypus, kangaroo, echidna, and koala. I feel like they left out a couple of really cool Australian animals, but Australia has 516 national parks to protect its unique plants and animals. And that's where all the fucking kangaroos are. No, they're like the more you get away from like urban, suburban places, the more animals you get. But like I have a couple of friends that live not that far away from me, and you just like know that there's a chance that there will be a kangaroo there. Also, if you do go into like rural Victoria or like go out to other places, it's really sad, but unfortunately, it's kind of just a thing that happens. You will see dead kangaroos on the side of the road everywhere because they just jump across and get hit by cars, which again is very sad. But it's kind of just like you're driving, you see them if you're going into a rural Victoria. There's also, we have like signs, like stop signs, turn signs on the side of the road. We have them for like different animals. I'm pretty sure there are more than just kangaroos, but kangaroo is a big one because like you got to watch out. Also, like kangaroos can be fucking huge, and if they like jump out and you hit them with your car, obviously it's not good for the kangaroo, but it might kill everyone in the car too, or really fuck up like the car, which could kill, like, who cares about the car in the grand scheme of things if everyone else is okay? But I'm saying if it hits the car, it could cause a problem for the people inside too. Most of Australia's exotic flora and fauna cannot be found anywhere in the world. Exclusive, rarity points going up. Now we've got a couple of for the platypus and different like spiders. All the different all the different poisonous things. The male platypus has strong enough venom to kill a small dog. I don't know if anyone knew that. Platypuses are a crazy creature. They are also a mammal and they lay eggs. I think only one of a couple possibly that do that. They have a bill and like a flappy tail, webbed feet, and on I think their back feet they have like a little talon claw thing that excretes venom. I'm just like, bro, who put you together? It's the Frankenstein of animals, the platypus. I also do think they're very cute. I think they're adorable. But yeah, they're crazy. And there's a fun bit here. When the platypus was first sent to England, it was believed that Australians had played a joke by sewing the bill of a duck onto a rat, which is a little like rude to the platypus because I don't think it gives that much like rat qualities. I think that's a little mean to it. But Australia is home to many of the deadliest species of animals on the planet. It's just one of those things. There are 36 species, and this is where I'm just like, I know like these things are true, but I don't know if it's like when they say 36, I'm like, I don't know if that's correct or not. Someone needs to fact check that. I should have, but well, you know, you can take it with a grain of salt. Most of it's probably somewhat correct. There are 36 species of poisonous funnel web spiders found in Australia and 20 species of venomous snake, including the world's most venomous snake, the taipan. This snake releases enough venom in one bite to kill 100 people. Doesn't that make you feel good? That makes you feel so fun. That's why if you have been watching Heartbreak High along with me, you'll know, spoiler alert, just do a couple of skips if you don't want to hear this. When Quinny got bit by a snake, I was so fucking worried because I was like, I think she was like, oh, I might die in like half an hour. Some of them, it's like, you're fucked so quickly. I'm luckily, I don't live in a place with many snakes. I haven't had to see one out in the wild. I think the scariest creature I probably run into is a kangaroo because, like, they're huge and jacked and have razor sharp claws. Also, I saw a scorpion once, which scared the absolute living shit out of me. That was when I was a kid. So that was a lot for a little me because scorpions you just know are like scary and can kill you. But yeah, all fun and games, you know, just living in Australia. Yeah, spiders you do see, and there are some real icky ones, but that's at least I'm touch wood. Not a lot of snakes around. Also going to the beach, and we'll get into a couple of like beach aquatic animals. Also a place where you're like, oh fuck, gotta look out before I die from anything I touch. So a couple more fun venomous animals: the blue-ringed octopus, the stonefish, and funnel web spiders, which we talked about. The blue-ringed octopus is a fucking scary one. I don't remember how deadly it is. I just know it's so fucking deadly. You're like warned as a kid. I'm in school or by your parents. It's one of the, I feel like in school they talk about it. Like when you like learn about, you know, life and stuff, you're like so warned if you go to a beach, because like everyone goes to the beach. We've talked about this. And you know, go to certain beaches that have like rock pools and stuff. You're like, if you see anything that looks like this animal, you fucking don't touch it. You do not go near it. And you've seen, sometimes you see videos, you know, when you like, kind of like TikTokers or like people that do that, who like go and interact with like wildlife and nature, and they hold scary animals and poisonous spiders. I've seen one guy like hold a blue-ringed octopus, and in my mind, I was like, I don't know if anyone else that's watching that isn't Australian, like he's talking about it, but I'm like, knows how fucking scary that should be. I feel like they are, I want to Google How quickly can a blue-ringed octopus kill you? 20 minutes. Although the bite might be most painless and you don't really know it, a bite from it can kill you in 20 minutes. That is so scary. 20 minutes. That's like no time. That's like barely an episode of a show. That's wild. But also another fact that I'm like, the box jellyfish, which is found in the waters of the Great Barrier Reef, is responsible for more deaths than snakes, sharks, and saltwater crocodiles combined. Yeah, like we've got a lot of scary animals, but I feel like they luckily don't happen as much as you would think. It's always the little guys that get you, not the big boys. And another odd fun fact that kept coming up on a lot of websites that I didn't know of: each year, Brisbane holds the World Championship for cockroach racing. Which sounds fucking disgusting, but I have a story. When, in Queensland, when I went up, like years ago, we were staying at a hotel that had cane toad racing. And I don't fully remember about cane toads. I'm pretty sure they're an invasive species. But there was this thing at this hotel that was like, you like, kind of like auction, like you try and like buy in for a frog. Yeah, sorry, a cane toad is, a frog, a toad. And you like, if you get it, that's your like frog, and then they have to do something and you kind of race them. Mine's name was Wally White. I still remember this clear as day. I convinced my mum and dad to like put me in the running. And my frog won. And what did I win? I won a hat, which was cool, and a bottle of wine, which me as a child didn't get to appreciate. So my parents got a free bottle of wine from my work, even though they paid to enter me into it. But at least I got to give something back. Back to them. Here it is. Platypuses and echidnas are the only two mammals in the world that lays eggs. Pretty interesting. Koalas sleep around 20 hours per day. They do. I don't think they get a lot of... I think they only eat eucalyptus leaves, possibly. And I don't think they got a lot of nutrients from that. I think... Is it kind of similar to like a panda bear, only eats like bamboo and doesn't get... What's with the bears? Like, guys, eat something better for you. It's possibly that they can only eat that. But, we'll see. Okay, now I'm just going to throw off some more of the animal facts for us. There are 4 different species of kangaroo in Australia, with red kangaroo being the biggest. The largest big red that was ever seen was 2.1 meters tall, 5'9", and weighed 91 kilos, 200 pounds. That's why in the wild you get scared of them. They're obviously not all like that, but still. The Australian thorny devil can live up to 20 years and has one of the longest lifespans of lizards of its size in the world because it's good at camouflage. The kangaroo and the emu were chosen to be featured on the coat of arms of Australia because they can't walk backwards, like reflecting a forward-thinking culture. That is one that I was like, is this really true? That seems what it was added in the kangaroo stuff, but I was like, that is the wildest fact I've ever heard in my life. I was like, I know about the kangaroos and stuff being big and tall and, the lizards living a long time, but I know they can't walk backwards too, but I was like, is that why they're on the coat of arms, really? Australia has the largest population of camels. It has a larger population of camels than Egypt. There are 1 million camels that roam wild in the Australian desert. The largest number of purebred camels in the world. Australia exports its camels to the Middle East. Fun fact, I feel like that's one that I love to tell people, and I have been telling people for years. I learnt it once, and I thought it was the best thing ever, and it was hilarious. Just like, because obviously, you think of certain things like, deserts and camel rides. You do, I feel like, think of like Middle Eastern countries, and that sort of, in the movies and the TV shows, that's what they show you. But to think that we're exporting the camels is very funny to me. This one might be... I don't know how other people take this from other countries, especially depending how patriotic the country is. I'm looking at you, America. To like your, national animal or anything, but while kangaroos are considered a national icon, with over 40 million estimated throughout the country, they can be considered a pest in some locations. And that kangaroo meat can be purchased from supermarkets and is known to be leaner and healthier alternative to beef or lamb with a 1 to 2% fat content. Yeah, we eat kangaroo. I don't know if that's like widely known or not. Not everyone does. I don't think it's like the most popular meat in the country or not. I don't know like what are the stats. There's only like there's not the biggest section of kangaroo meat at the supermarket too. And also it used to be a lot cheaper than it is currently. It's gone up everything's gone up in price, but I saw it used to be a lot cheaper. Kangaroo, fun fact, is one of my favorite meats. I love kangaroo. It is delicious. It is hard to cook because it's very lean. You could really it can get really chewy really easily. But like if you do ever come to Australia and you go to like a nice, because I feel like it's not served everywhere as like it's not because it's taboo. It's just not a lot of places like serve it. But if you do go to any fancy restaurants that have kangaroo and you like a gamey meat, like deer, kind of rabbit, that kind of vibe, I could liken it to somewhat, but I love it. I think it's delicious. I get it any chance I can. They have like in the supermarket, they also sell like kangaroo sausages, kangaroo like burgers and stuff. They're not as good. They have like great like fat to protein like meat ratios, which is good, but it's not like the craziest thing. But an actual like chunk of kangaroo, like a kangaroo steak or thing is very nice. Very nice indeed. It's like my favorite meat. I don't have it very often. Also, it's just tough to cook, but ooh, love. Now I'm craving it. Fuck. 17 of the world's most poisonous snakes can be found in Australia. Australia is home to 21 of the world's 25 most venomous snakes. Again, really happy don't see snakes very often. Touch wood. Australia is home to around 1,500 types of spiders and 4,000 types of ants and 350 types of termites. And those spiders are all scary. I hate spiders. Really big. Ooh. No, I had a nightmare about spiders last night. I was sleeping, and when you kind of know you're waking up, I feel like your dream knows you're waking up, or nightmare, and someone just kept telling me that there were spiders in my bed. Was not having a good time at all. Hated every second of it. Okay, now we're on to the culture section, which is very fun. 33% of Australians are born in another country. I talked about what people want to know or what thoughts and vibes, and people were talking about accents and stuff. Australia is so 49% of Australians were born... Okay, so there's a different stat. Are born overseas, or at least have one parent who was born overseas. Okay, so that's where it ups. So, Australia is super, multicultural. People from fucking everywhere. Fucking everywhere. And it's great. I think it's the best thing because you get, lots of everything. When you go to school, high school, university, you get to meet so many, different sorts of people. And, when you go see their families, you get to experience all these different things. It's really cool. I think it's a very good thing. I love it. I love what it brings. I love the food implications. You have heaps of different... Me just being an absolute person who can only think about food. I'm it brings in so many different food options from around the globe, and people set up restaurants and you get to try their amazing foods. I'm a very person that's I will try everything once at least. I want to try all food as much as I can. I just love food so much. But it's really cool, and you get to meet so many different people, learn so many different things. You get to talk to people, and they're oh, my parents are from here, or did this, or this is how our family works, and you get such a very different oh, this is... Sorry, I'm just getting in my chair. But this is how we work. I think it's really cool, and a really fun thing. But accents, that obviously gives a little look into obviously a lot of people just have their accents from like, the country they came from possibly. But as for Australian accents, like the ones you hear in the movies and stuff, I would say generally you have a lot of people who sound similar to me. If we're talking about just like general Australian accents, it would be this very neutral, the stereotypical accent that comes out a lot, maybe when we're more angry or like in different moods. But I'd say Australia is fairly neutral compared to how it could be. We have a lot of people with like thicker Australian accents, a lot of like older people definitely have it more. And there are some people, bogans, who are like the rednecks of Australia, if that makes sense. They definitely have their own. Well, it's not their own. They stereotypically have a more heavy Australian accent. Then we have, as you see in Heartbreak High, you have our young Eshays and misguided youths that have their own sort of speak. But it's just like any country. It's more, everyone speaks differently. There's also a fun one, which when I had TikTok, you would see a lot of Australian content creators, that do like those characters and stuff. There is like the rich mum, and that sounds really strange, but if you Google it, you'll see what I'm talking about. They have a very distinct accent. A lot of like the wealthier like suburbs and places in like different states have, I would say, a very posh Australian accent. It's not even posh because it doesn't sound that great sometimes. That's very can I even do it? I've got to think of something to say. I don't know how. It's very like, you have to get it right, and if you're not good at it, you're not good at doing that accent. People are like, oh, it's like nearly like borderline semi-British with like Australian twang, and it's really hard. I'd say Google it. It's very funny to hear. I can think of one. I wouldn't know her name for the life of me, but I remember her doing TikToks of like that Australian mum character, and it's very good. A very good likeness to those sort of people, because you do meet them, especially working in a supermarket. I got to see the range of people that live. You get to see literally everyone, and wow, do you get to see some people, not just the accents, some just wild people in general. Okay, so over 300 different languages and dialects are spoken in Australia, including, and this is, 45 Indigenous languages. Obviously, I am not the person to be speaking of that. I feel like there would be a lot more. And I don't think wherever I got that information is correct. But I think there are just heaps of, there's probably thousands of languages spoken in Australia in general because of Indigenous languages, every different culture that exists in Australia. I would think there is probably a lot, but heaps of different ones. You can be you can just be somewhere in a city and be like, wow, I just walked past 8 different people and I heard 8 different things that I had no idea. And I think it's kind of fun. I don't know. I enjoy it. Also, apparently 21% of Australians don't speak English at home, which is, I don't know. I'm like, are they just taking this from a census? Melbourne and Victoria comprise of the largest Greek population in the world after Athens, Greece, which I think is really funny, because I used to live close to, because you have, obviously there are a lot, it depends what area you come from is what's a big population, because a lot of people, set up, and then everyone kind of from that culture seems to go to those areas, and also depends what time different sorts of people were coming to Australia, and where they, it's all that stuff. But I used to live in a place where it's predominantly a heavy Greek area, and it was great. The food was fantastic, loved it. It's like, only good things. Lot of guy, a lot of old men drinking like coffees in the morning, and then a lot of like young people having good Greek food at night. It was a fantastic area to live in. People from Sydney are referred to as Sydney-siders, which I don't know. I don't live in Sydney, so... Also, I feel like there's a weird rivalry between all... Does that just happen in every country that has, like, states and bits? Does everyone have weird rivalries? But yeah, I'm not from Sydney. Ugh. So, don't know what they call themselves. I do like Sydney. It's just a fun thing that I like doing with my friends who are from Sydney. We always throw shit at each other to be like, who's better? Who's better, Melbourne or Sydney? And a person from Melbourne is called a Melburnian, which is, yes, correct. Also, obviously, it's Melbourne, not Melbourne, like some people say. We know these things. Hopefully we know these things. Also, Australia has one of the most advanced currencies in the world. It's waterproof, made of polymer, and very hard to counterfeit. I'll be back. Now, I can't show you all of the notes, not because I'm like hiding them or anything, but because I don't have them. I don't usually sit around with 50s and 100s. Also, our notes are 5, 10, 20, 50s, 100s. Is that the same as everywhere else? I don't know, but that's how... but I've got a couple of our currencies. I'm pretty sure some people show... They're all very, like, colourful. Made of plastic. Very hard to, like... destroy, completely be crumpled up, and they stay pretty good. Like they iron out pretty well. I wouldn't actually use an iron on them, but like I know, like a great thing about them is like you're going to the beach, you don't have your wallet and card. Everything does lead back to the beach in Australia. Fuck. Maybe they're onto something. They talk about beaches. I was like, we're not that beachy. Fuck, I am bitchy. You go to the beach, you just like put a bunch of cash in your pocket, you just go in the water, it's fine. We've got a 10 here. We have a 20. Orange, and then it's yellow for 50s, green for 100s. But the fun thing about them is we actually also, they all changed a couple of years ago. We like switched, they just like updated them all, but like they now have like, see how they like see through in the middle? There's like the gap there that didn't used to be there. But so they all have that sort of thing going on. They're a fun little... I love the colour. It makes it very easy too. Also, the thing about it being really hard to counterfeit, there's a lot of like hidden things in the notes. There's a lot of things that if you like hold them up into the light, you can see like certain emblems and logos. I don't know as much about these ones compared to the old notes, because I knew more about the old notes. Fun fact, I knew a lot of facts about the old notes, so I don't know how these work, but I don't know. I love our money. I love money in general. Money, great things. It keeps the world going. But I don't know, it's cool. Like, when you see, like, money in America... Sorry, America, I'm really trashing on you this episode. But you see it in the movies and stuff, and it makes no sense to me. It's all the same color. It all looks the same. It looks like it can just crumple and, like, disintegrate so easily. I'm like, these shit... When you see a torn note, you're like, what happened to it? Like, what happened to that poor note? These are usually fucking indestructible. Obviously, they're not. Like, if I pull hard enough, I could maybe rip it. I'm doing it with the 5, not the 20. Like, that's not... I can't, like... You know how you usually tear down, you're back and forth? I can't really get into it at all. They're not... Like, they're really made for... Like, I can twist it and pull... They're pretty good. And then you just, like... undo it, and... They're fucking great notes. I will say, the more, you pay and you do the, like... You insert it into, like, the self-serve machines. After they crumple, they're really hard to go in. But other than that, great note. I love our I don't know. I'm weirdly, like, it's a topic that I love. It's the currency. Okay. And then I wanted to add this here just because I love Melbourne. So, obviously, I'm from here, grew up in Victoria. So, it's more the place that I love to talk about. Melbourne was once the richest city in the world. Hell yeah, Melbourne. When gold was discovered in Victoria in the 1850s, the capital of Melbourne was transformed from a small port town into the richest city in the world, and by the 1880s, Melbourne was christened Marvellous Melbourne. The region's gold rush history can still be seen in Ballarat, home to Sovereign Hill, and in Melbourne's elegant Victorian architecture. Today, Melbourne is one of the world's most livable cities, famous for its coffee culture and abundant street art. It is. We were most livable city in the world for like a good couple of years. I think we got beat out last couple of times, which kind of sucks. But like there's all different stuff about like the gold rush. That's like a big part of Victoria, like the state I come from. Different places that had different like mining stuff, gold stuff. You definitely, there's stuff in it in those different like suburbs and stuff. They talk about Ballarat, which is home to Sovereign Hill, which is a really cool place. If you're from like Melbourne or Victoria, you definitely know of it, because everyone went there as a kid with their school for a school camp. 100% definitely. It's just a place you go. It's a place where, gold used to be like mined, panned, looked for. And they have this whole like town. Google it. It's actually really cool. And it kind of gives Westworld vibes, but for gold. But there's all these people in like, old timey, 1850s clothing. They all stay in character. There's people that like make sweets, and then there's talk about mining. You can go down on this like mine cart and like learn about, tunnels and stuff. They have stuff about, I think, maybe war, possibly. It was a very long time since I've been, but basically it was just cool because you got to like see a lot of people just like acting in character like it's the old times. Like there's like candle making, all that like old timey stuff. And it's just like everyone went there. I feel like everyone has a memory from there. It's a really fun place. It also, I'm trying to think what I had something. Oh, like you can still like pan for gold. I think they have like this little river, which I think they add really small like flakes of gold into, and you like can like buy a little thing to like put the gold you find in, which is really cool. Or you can just like buy like for like $20 like little flaky golds in a jar. I have one from like probably like 15 years ago. The gold's definitely not worth anything, but it was a really cool place as a kid. And, it adds to the Melbourne experience. So I had to talk about it. But we're on our last section. And again, if you want to know more things or want follow up on anything, do let me know. If we want another episode on Australia, we could definitely do that. I would not be mad. But if you have any like follow-ups or questions, do let me know in the comments because I love talking about it. And if I know it, I will be happy to talk about it. But here are my random facts. Some of them I'll talk about. Like if I have anything to go off, I'll add more. But they're very random. I don't know if they're true. I think they all are because a lot of things popped up in different places, so kind of like reaffirmed. But yeah, here are our random facts. So the Australian Alps receive more snowfall than Switzerland, like the Swiss Alps. So that's the fact. It's pretty cool. One of the websites was like, maybe you have to rethink your next ski trip, which is like skiing and like snowboarding is big in Australia in certain areas. We do have a lot of snow. Like the weather is also something that I could have gone in depth about, but like, Australia gets, obviously we have rainforest, we have colder bits like down in Melbourne. We're close to the fucking giant block of ice down in the middle of the ocean. What should we call it? Like we have a lot of desert in the outback. Like we have so many different, so there's so many and it gets cold and we have a lot of snow and skiing and snowboarding and all that stuff is a big thing. A lot of people love it. They live for snow season. Like good for them. I'm not big. I love like going to the snow is fun. I'm just not a big skier, snowboarder. My friends and I went up for a couple of years in a row. Tried them both, hated them both. It's not that I just don't like, it's kind of a bit thrill seeking in my mind. I don't like speed. I don't like barreling down. Yes, if you're good at it, you could probably, you could stop and figure it out. It's just not my cup of tea. Did you know, we're asking you, that Canberra was selected as the capital because Sydney and Melbourne could not stop arguing which city was the capital? I could believe that they were arguing, I don't know in what capacity, but I think that is kind of hilarious because I feel like Melburnians and Sydney-siders do love to compare each other. But a fun fact that I found out today was Melbourne was and again, don't know if it's right, Melbourne was the capital city of Australia for 26 years between 1901 and 1927, before the capital shifted to a purpose-built city of Canberra. Yeah, Canberra, is in the ACT, which is our capital. Not a lot there. I'm pretty sure it's all, from what I know, it's all politics stuff and people move up there for work and stuff, but it's very not a lot's going on from what I know. Also, I should have said Australia has, what does it have? I was going to say it's got so many states and a couple of territories. It has the Australian Capital Territory and the Northern Territory, so 2 territories, and it has Western Australia, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania. So, 8? Okay, I was right. I don't know why I got so scared that I was wrong there. I was just 8 seems like a lot, but everything always says, oh, there's, 6 states, 2 territories. I knew I was right. I don't know why I second-guessed myself. Australia is home to the longest fence in the world. Originally built to keep dingoes away from fertile land, the fence is now 5,614 kilometres long. Australia's dingo fence is longer than the Great Wall of China, but definitely not talked about as much. Not as marvelous of a in structure, but why don't we talk more about the fence? This is another one that was crazy to me. Some of these random facts were wild to me. A lot of the other facts is I kind of knew these things. These ones, some of them were whoa. There are 60 designated wine regions in Australia. Yes, know that. Australia's big on wine. Big wine creators. But producing approximately 1.35 trillion bottles of wine every year. That's just to have trillion. That's a wild number. That's so many. I mean, good on us for, getting everyone drunk, but, or appropriately loving, the culture of wine, but good on us. Good on Australia. You can fly from Perth to Melbourne faster than you can fly from one end of Western Australia to the other. That one I told a friend today, and we logistically don't know why, and that is a wild fact to me. I don't know if it's I don't know what it's to do with, but interesting fact. Would love some. I might have to actually follow that one up myself. Melbourne was briefly called Batmania. So we've had a lot of changes in Australia was once called Van Diemen's Land, and then also New Holland, at the start. So that was a thing, but Melbourne was briefly called Batmania, which you can still visit Batman Park in Melbourne, which yes, but Batmania is kind of a sick title. Melbourne, great. Batmania, that's so cool. I feel like Melbourne, I wouldn't want it to turn into Gotham, but it's kind of sick. What if we got a vigilante? What if Batman lived in Melbourne? Because it would have been called Batmania. I'm just saying, we missed with that one. And then the last one, which I think a lot of people know because it's very cool. Western Australia is home to a number of pink lakes. If you haven't, Google it, because seeing the pink lakes is a wild thing. I think it has to do with possibly, if I've read sulfur levels, but that could be very... While we're here, why are Aussie lakes pink? Enter. Oh my god. Why are they pink lake? Oh, it's the algae. Interesting. Okay, there's your fact. The pink, it's the algae that makes the lakes pink. But yeah, if you do Google those, because they actually look really cool and they're very pretty to look at. But there's my list of facts. There's my stuff. I don't even really know what I covered. I just kind of went on a big tangent, a big lot of facts that I enjoyed and thought was cool. I hope I got to throw some bit of my experience and different things in there to like take it away from just being a boring like lesson on Australia. But I hope someone liked it. You know what I mean? I hope someone A liked it, B learned something, B was shocked by something, because there's crazy stuff. You know, a wild country. There's like, also I didn't even cover probably like 0.1% of things that is to do with the country. It's just, you know, some bigger, wilder, dumb stuff that is fun. But like, there's definitely better people. If you want to learn more about Australia, we can talk about it again. I would love to. But if you actually want to learn a lot about the country, there are probably a lot better people to look at. Mine was just some like fun, dumb stuff. But definitely there's probably, if you if you Google it, there's probably stuff out there. There's probably a lot of Australian content. I do know I fell down a hole like the other month or two ago. No, it might have been like 6 months ago. But I was watching American people maybe react to like different like Australian songs and stuff, and there are certain different ones, and I fell down this hole, and it's hard to explain, but there are songs that and like music videos that I have either heard all my life or seen all my life. I think one's an ad for an airline, but it's like, so half of them I want to cry while watching. Like there's just so many like things of Australia, but I just thought it'd be fun. I hope someone enjoyed. Because it's just a fun topic to talk about. I feel like anyone would want to just throw facts around about their country because it's enjoyable to do. Also, I feel like there isn't the most stuff out there about Australia, and then there needs to be more. Again, I'm probably not the person who should be the one doing it. But I don't know. I just had a blast. Also, I learned a bunch. If these facts are correct, which again, touch wood, I hope they're correct, but we don't know how correct they are. But even I learned some stuff today, and I was like, this is so interesting. Just like researching any country can be so fun. Like they were my favorite projects to do in like primary school, high school, when you like do those things where you're like given a country and you have to figure out, like learn all this stuff about it. That was my favorite fucking thing ever. Just getting to learn about, you know, people and culture and all that thing. I mean, is that why I enjoyed anthropology at university so much? It's because of the study of human culture. Wow, I think I've made a connection into why I am why I am like the way I am. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed. I'm starting to talk in circles and going crazy. We went a lot longer than I usually do for a podcast episode, but I had a lot to say and a lot to get through, a lot of content. Yeah, we will be testing next episode. So make sure you study up, and I will be asking questions. But yeah, I had a ball. I hope you did too. I hope you enjoyed and are having a great day. And I hope to see you in the next one.